Hey guys, so with Monarch of the Sword Iseria releasing soon, I'll be covering some of my thoughts and feelings on a kit and her usability in RTA and other modes. So just a small disclaimer, I'm only in Chem RTA right now, and I kind of play like bronze, so do take my opinions with a grain of salt. Alright, so firstly let's take a look at stats right here. She seems to have pretty high base attack and base HP, and she can further increase her attack with self-imprint. Okay, so let's take a look at the kit next. S2 Elbrus's successor increases pen res by 70 up to 70 and increases and doubles all her counter attack chances on herself only. And when counter attacking if the target is a hero, triggers a counter attack from the foremost ally. After attacking, grants a barrier proportional to attack to the caster for 2 turns. Okay, so looking at this, obviously you don't want her in front like this. You want to put someone else to maximize the usage of this extra counter attack from the foremost ally. And since she does get a barrier proportional to attack, obviously you want to build her pretty high attack. Okay, so next, let's check out S3. After inflicting fracture on the caster and dispelling all debuffs, attacks all enemies with the power of the ritual sword. Inflicts additional damage proportional to the caster's attack on the target and up to 25% injuries. Okay, so fracture is actually a new unique effect in the game, and it increases attack but decreases the caster's defense by 5%, can stack up to 10 times, so that's 200% attack and 50% defense. So I guess she doesn't really need defense to be built on her. Just attack HP should be enough. Maybe you want some FRS to, uh, resist some stray CC debuffs like stuns and whatnot, or maybe defense breaks from the enemy. I don't know, Pera or what. But anyway, from the preview video, this additional damage is actually pretty high since it scales off her attack, and we want her to build like maybe 5k. Uh, I'm assuming that's possible. And the injuries actually come from the additional damage and not the base damage, so it would be pretty easy to hit this 25% right off the bat. Okay, next is the S1. Attacks the enemy with a sword and penetrates the target's defense fully. When triggered as a counter attack, activates an enhanced attack instead. And this enhanced attack is after inflicting fracture on the caster, which is another source of fracture for her. Attacks the enemy with the ritual sword and increases combat readiness of the caster and the foremost ally except for the caster by 25%. This is actually quite a lot of utility for like support potential for her team. And this also inflicts additional damage proportional to the caster's attack on the target and up to 20% injuries. So another source of additional damage, another source of injuries. So this actually shows me that her damage output can be pretty high. However, obviously her whole gimmick is countering. So firstly she will want to use Elbris. I mean, surprise, she wants to use the artifact that literally spawns her. Okay, anyway, she wants to use Elbris, counter set, but since her whole gimmick is countering and whatnot to inflict fat additional damage and applying injury, as well as, okay, she does kind of perform the support role for the foremost ally. However, since her whole gimmick is basically countering, you kind of don't want to pick her into units that prevent countering, I mean, of course. So like units like Mod, Astromancer, Elena. Honestly, I don't know who picks Astromancer, Elena right now, but okay, so basically just Mod. And maybe units that inflict unable to be countered like Haseti, or units that inflict bind like Nako. Honestly, I forgot who else inflicts bind. Fire Litica, yeah, that's about it. And also, smaller weakness for her would be additional damage reduction from Maid Chloe and Fallen Cecilia. But I don't think this will really impact her usability in RTA that much, since like I'm pretty sure she still does a lot of damage. So like even if it was 10k or something, it gets reduced to 5k, it's still pretty decent. And if we do manage to get her through without any units that prevent countering or additional damage mitigation, obviously her damage output will be pretty damn high. Especially since she has this 70% pen rest, it'll be pretty hard to kill her right now since a lot of the good DPSs in the current meta rely on penetration. But one thing to note, I don't know if you pick her with Empyrean Ilinef, I don't know if this increases to 100, but regardless, 70 is pretty high. Pretty good enough to stop whatever damage from units that rely on penetration. Okay, so overall, I think she's pretty decent. and she can perform pretty well in RTA, assuming you get through without the enemy picking like mod or any bind units. But I wouldn't put her up there with units like Barunka or Nurse Yuha simply because of that gigantic weakness, which means that you probably can't pick her early unless you prevent mod or something, which I don't think is really worth it. But yeah, so I wouldn't put her up there with units like Barunka and Nurse Yuha. Those units are really just too good in the current meta. You just first pick them and there's not really much direct counterplay the enemy can do. But in controlled environments though, like Guild War and Flag Arena, I would say she's pretty hard to use, especially as a defense unit. As an attack unit, I don't really like to rely on counter attacks, so I wouldn't really use her in Guild War and Flag Arena. And also, since she has 100 base speed, once if she's on defense, once the enemy brings a mod or something, she becomes next to useless because she just doesn't take a turn and doesn't do anything else. Since she can't counter and do any of her effects. Okay, anyway, let's just take a look at the skill animations before I end this video, I guess.
As decreed by the World Tree, I bestow upon you the revelation of radiance.
Okay, this is S3 and this is an enhanced attack.
Sword of Light.
Underestimated you.
Trading
Do
blows.
take note that she doesn't come with
Indeed.
this counter buff. I think it's just here just to showcase the S2 animation. I mean the enhanced S1 animation. So actually S3 and the enhanced S1 has a unique animation compared to her other counterparts. So that's actually pretty nice.
Bloom for me.
And you can notice that it actually stacks the fracture up here whenever she uses the S3
Not
and the
block.
enhanced S1.
I underestimated you.
I'll snuff your flames.
Okay, but it doesn't like multiply it for you, so you kind of do have to do the math yourself. But anyway, that's it for my thoughts and feelings of this character, and thanks everyone for watching. Peace!